Cars, a copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars. Attention all cars. Broadcast 103. Be on the lookout for one James Bascom, alias the Bullet. Described as 35 years, 5 feet 10 inches, 180 pounds. Has a broken nose, right ear cauliflower. This man is suspected of plotting the murder of his own wife. That's all. Rosenblatt.
This is a big month for calling all cars. As we start our third year on the air, the Rio Grande Oil Company celebrates its 20th birthday and enters upon the 21st and biggest year in its history. 20 years ago, this company was refining kerosene for lamps down on the banks of the Rio Grande River. Today, it is recognized as the fastest growing oil company in the West. This is proved by the recently released state figures on taxable gasoline sales, showing Rio Grande sales increased twice that of its nearest competitor. In no other gasoline can motorists enjoy the advantages of the patented Sinclair cracking process, that additional refining method that makes Rio Grande cracked more powerful, more economical, and so much speedier than uncracked gasoline. The superiority of Rio Grande cracked gasoline made by the patented Sinclair cracking process is proved by the enthusiastic endorsement of such particular buyers as the cities of Los Angeles, Oakland, Berkeley, Marysville, San Diego County, and Maricopa County, Arizona. These and many other western cities and counties have honored Rio Grande cracked gasoline by selecting it, and above all others, to power more police cars, fire engines, ambulances, motorcycles, and other emergency equipment than any other brand. These broadcasts of calling all cars, based on the deeds of police officers who use Rio Grande cracked gasoline, have induced thousands of motorists to drive into independent service stations for the same cracked gasoline that police cars use. We invite you, too, to enjoy the thrill of police car performance. And now it is our pleasure to present Chief James E. Davis of the Los Angeles Police Department. Chief Davis.
Good evening, friends. You have heard me repeat many times on this program the duty of your policemen to prevent crime before it occurs, as well as to bring the criminals to justice after a crime has been committed. This is not the idle voicing of an unattainable ideal. Our files contain many cases in which the crime has never occurred because of the alert work of the police in preventing it. Your policeman is just as interested in keeping you out of jail as putting you in. He is just as interested in discovering your innocence as he is in determining your guilt. He is, in the final analysis, interested in only one thing, and that is the facts of the case. Tonight, Calling All Cars dramatizes a case in point, where the homicide squad functioned to the fullest in the prevention of a crime. The facts are authentic. The names, for reasons which will be readily apparent, have been changed. But the moral of the story has not been changed. Nothing can change the unalterable, eternal truth, the fact that crime does not pay.
Tonight, Calling All Cars is honored to present as its guest star the famous star of stage and screen, Charles Bickford. Mr. Bickford, making his first public appearance since his near escape from death at the hands of an enraged lion during the filming of East of Java, will be heard on tonight's broadcast in the role of Buckeye Bryan, the man who accepts an invitation to murder. Our story tonight opens at the steakhouse of Bullet Bascom, ex-prize fighter, and Bascom is bidding a couple of diners good night. Well, Miss Watson, enjoy your dinner?
I certainly did. I was just saying to Mr. Watson, there's no place like Bullet Bascom's for steak.
That's right, and I agree.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
No one in this part of the country has better meat than you, Bascom.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. Come again, will you?
You bet we will.
Yeah, let me hold the door open for you.
Thank you, Mr. Bascom.
Good night.
Good night.
Mind holding the door open for me?
What the devil? I told you not to come here, Flo.
I know. But I got some news for you, Sugar.
Yeah, but you should have called me.
Oh, listen, Bullet, I have to see you. Gee, it's been so long, almost a whole day now.
All right, not so loud. Come on over here in this corner booth and don't be conspicuous. There. Sit over there.
What's the idea? You ashamed of me?
No, but I don't want Mildred to get wise.
You sound like you're afraid of that dame. She's only your wife.
Shh, please be quiet, will you?
Sometimes I get disgusted with you. Bullet Bascom, the former middleweight champion, tied to the apron strings of a dame. Why don't you give me something to respect?
All right, Flo. Don't get to that again unless you're aching for a smack on the kisser.
Ah, Daddy, that's more like it. You would smack me, too, wouldn't you?
You bet I would.
Gives me chills up my spine just to think of it.
All right, count 10 on that, too. What's in your mind?
I got it. I got it today.
You got what makes sense?
I got my divorce. I'm free, white, and almost 21.
Yeah, well?
Don't it excite you none? I'm yours, Daddy, all yours. Nobody can take me from you now.
Yeah, that's swell.
Aren't you glad?
Sure, I'm glad.
How about you? When you getting your divorce?
Well, I don't know. I gotta go easy.
What do you mean, go easy?
Well, you know how Mildred is. You can't spring things on her too quick.
Mildred. I'm sick of that name. Hey, you ain't been kidding me all this time, have you?
No, on the level. I just gotta go slow.
What do you mean, go slow?
Well, look, Flo. It ain't as easy as you giving your husband the gate. Everything I got, my house, the restaurant here, everything come out of that legacy from Mildred's old man. If I just go ahead and ditch her like you want me to, I won't have a red cent to my name. I gotta be careful.
Listen, Bullet. I love you, see? I'm your woman, and nobody else has got a right to touch my little finger. The same goes for you. You're my man. And I'm gonna have you no matter what.
Yeah, that's swell, but there's still Mildred.
Well, there won't be Mildred very long.
What do you mean?
Just this. Mildred's gonna commit suicide.
What?
Only you're gonna pull the trigger on the gun.
Flo, you're going nuts.
No, I'm not. How do you suppose I got rid of my first husband, the one before Eddie? The papers called it suicide. So did the coroner, but... Well, you listen to me, Daddy. It's simple. Here's the way you do it.
She's asleep now, Bullet. Now's your chance.
What? Who's there?
Nobody's here. You're alone, Bullet, quite alone.
Who are you?
Your thought.
You can't escape us.
We are your thought. The gun's over there in the desk. Get it over with quick. Do it now, like that motto in your office says. Do it now.
She's been a good wife. She don't deserve this. Even if I don't love her no more, she don't deserve this.
Getting soft, Bullet.
Tied to a woman's apron string. Getting soft, Daddy, getting soft.
Remember when you knocked out the Ebony Kid in 3 rounds? You were a tough guy then. What happened to you?
I'm still Bullet Bascom. The hardest hitting puncher in the ring. I ain't soft. I got nerve.
Then use it, Bascom. Use it. The gun is in the desk drawer.
Go on, Daddy. I'll be waiting for you at the other end of the line.
It's in the desk drawer, Bascom. You know where. The gun's in the desk drawer.
Yeah, I know. I put it there myself. I know.
Don't touch it.
Huh?
Not with your bare hands. Don't leave fingerprints.
Silk handkerchief. I told you to handle it with a handkerchief.
That's right. I forgot. Nearly hung a wrap on my head then. The silk handkerchief.
Break it open. See if it's loaded.
Yeah, it's loaded. 6 slugs in it.
You'll only need 1, Bascom. Just 1 slug, and then you're all set.
Yeah. Wonder if Flo's worth it.
Worth it? You know I'm worth it.
Come on, Bascom. 6 steps to the bedroom door. Open it. 3 more steps to the bed. Hold the gun close to her head so there'll be powder burn so it'll look like suicide. Come on, Bascom, come on.
Remember the night?
Yeah, I loved her once.
Close to the head. Now she's waking up. Press the trigger now.
No, I can't.
You're soft, Daddy. You ain't a man.
Oh, better wake up. Kill her now.
Darling, what are you doing standing there with that gun in your hand?
What?
You something wrong?
No. Nothing's wrong. We're just cleaning it.
Well, come on to bed and clean it in the morning. Oh, what time is it?
Time? Oh, I don't know. 1:30 or so.
Well, where have you been so long?
Oh, Jack Sneed and some of the boys dropped into the place. I sat around and...
Jack Sneed, he needs some dough. If you haven't got the nerve, get him to do it.
You gotta do it, Daddy. You just gotta.
I can't.
Jack Sneed. Fine riffraff to be hanging around with until all hours in the morning. Come on to bed, darling. I'm cold.
Yeah, honey. Just as soon as I put the gun away.
You gotta do it.
I can't.
Get Sneed, Jack Sneed. He'll do the job. Jack Sneed, Jack Sneed, Jack Sneed, Jack Sneed, Jack Sneed, Jack Sneed.
Mr. Bascom, that lady over there wants Melba toast and strained spinach for
Yeah, we
lunch.
ain't got it. They ain't on the menu.
I know that. I told her so, but she says, what is this, a first-class restaurant or ain't it?
Tell her the closest we can come to strained spinach is a D. Luke's hamburger.
Yes, sir.
And wait a minute. Take care of this customer.
Yes, sir. Can I show you a table, sir?
No, I'm looking for... Oh, hello, Bullet.
Hello, Sneed.
The boy said he was looking for me.
Yeah. Let's sit down in this booth here.
Sure.
You had lunch, Jack?
No, as a matter of fact, I ain't.
How'd you like a nice New York cut steak?
Can't think of nothing better.
That's fine. Stella,
Yes, sir.
New York cut for Mr. Sneed. On a plank. How you like it, Jack? Medium, well, or what?
Rare. Rare with the blood oozing out of it.
Yeah. That's the way I like to hear you talk, Jack. And Stella,
Yes, sir.
bring Mr. Sneed an old-fashioned. From that bonded stuff.
It's a big idea, Bullet. Last night when I touched you for a fin, you gave me the go-by. Now you're setting me up to a swell fate.
Forget it. How you feeling?
Me? Not so good. They're policing the track at Santa Anita so darn close you can't make a decent snatch. Joe Filkis is out there spotting dips, and a self-respecting mall buzzer like me can't make himself 3 square. Try to reap a kick and you're in the Bastille for a sleep.
Yeah, gee, that's tough.
Sure. And do you think I can do any good with the junk? Why, Eddie Chitwood has got a fink at every corner looking like a snowbird dying at the equator. Proposition those mugs and it's up the river.
It ain't up the river, Jack. It's across the bay. You've still got East Coast hangovers.
I wish I had any sort of a hangover. I ain't had a drink in 60 years.
Well, that problem's settled. Here comes your old-fashioned.
Oh, and how I welcome it. Thanks, girlie. Here's how, Bullet.
How?
Oh, boy, that's good. You're sure treating me white, Bullet.
No, not at all.
Come on. What's on your mind?
What do you mean?
What do you want to see me about?
How'd you like to make some dough?
What I've been telling you. Where is it? I'd commit murder for a sawbuck.
You mean that?
Mean what?
That you'd commit murder.
Well, almost.
Would you put a little bump off for, say, $100?
What?
That's what I wanted to see you about.
Are you nuts, Bullet?
I know what I'm talking about. I want you to bump off Mildred.
Mildred?
Yeah. She's this way, Jack. She's double-crossing me. She's cheating.
Mildred? Why, you're crazy, Bullet. Mildred's nuts about you.
I know she ain't. I've been having her shadowed. I know what I'm talking about.
It don't seem possible.
Well, it's true. And I ain't going to put up with it. I'm going to get rid of her right now.
Quiet. Here comes a waitress.
Here you are, sir. Is that rare enough?
Just right.
Okay, Stella, that's all. Now, how about it, Jack? You can eat a lot of steaks for $100.
But Mildred... Why, Bullet, I know her almost as well as I know you. She's a friend of mine.
Forget it. This is a business deal. You want to make yourself a century or not?
But, Bullet,
Oh, I see. $100 ain't enough. Okay, make it 200. How about that?
Yeah, but don't you see, I'll go to the pen for it.
Oh, no, you won't. You'll make it look like robbery, not suicide. That's silly.
What's that about suicide?
Oh, nothing. Make it look like robbery, and nobody will be wise. There's a steel bar in the closet at the house. I'll give you the key, and you just walk in and clout her over the head.
Oh, honey, what you do to me.
You love me, Flo?
Plenty.
You're a swell dish, Flo.
Cooked up just for you, Daddy. When'll you have it served?
What do you mean?
Just this. When's Mildred committing suicide?
I'm taking care of that.
You're taking care of it.
You heard me. Now quit asking questions. I'll smack you one.
Oh, Daddy. Promise?
Well, Sneed, how about it? You ready to pull the trigger this afternoon?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
You give me a drink, will you, Bullet? got the jitters.
Okay. Stella, a couple of scotch and sodas.
Yes, sir.
Now, what's the matter with you?
I can't go through with it, Bullet.
Why, you yellow
Now,
son-
wait a minute, Bullet. Don't take that attitude. I know Mildred too well. She's a friend of mine. I couldn't bump her off. I just couldn't.
You're walking out on me, are you? Well, I ought to burn you myself.
Now, wait a minute, Bullet. I ain't walking out on you. I'll get it done for you.
You'll get it done for me. What are you talking about?
Listen, Bullet. I ran into an old pal of mine today. Guy I was in the Marines with in China. Name's Buckeye Bryan. Buckeye on account he comes from Ohio.
Yeah.
Now, look, Buckeye's a hood. The real McCoy. He's a chopper with a mob back in Toledo. He don't know you, and he don't know Mildred. He'll do the job for you, and no questions asked. I need the dough myself, but I can't bump off a friend for it.
How do I know this ain't a double cross?
It ain't, Bullet. I swear it. If you want to get Mildred bumped off, it ain't on my conscience, it's on yours. But if I bumped her off, it'd be on mine, see? Much as I need the dough, I don't need it that bad.
Okay. When can I talk to this Buckeye Bryan?
I'll have him here in a couple of hours. He's a great guy, Bullet. You'll like him. Bullet, this here is Buckeye Bryan. Buckeye, this is Bullet Bascom.
Glad to know you, Bascom.
Pleased to meet you, Bryan. Have a seat.
Sure.
What'd you like to drink?
Straight.
Stella, a couple of straight whiskeys and bring over the bottle.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll be seeing you later, Bullet.
What?
I don't want to know anything about this. Goodbye, Bullet.
What you doing, taking a powder?
No, Bullet. I'm on the up and up. Only, why should I listen in on this? I'll see you after.
Sometimes I think that guy's a fink.
Who, Jack? Why, Jack Sneed's the whitest guy that ever joined Uncle Sam's Devil Dogs. Why, Bascom, let me tell you about the time when we was in China together.
Here's
Why?
your whiskey, sir.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Have a chaser, Bryan?
Not me. I like it straight.
Well, fair enough. Here's to you.
Good stuff.
My prohibition stuff. They can't make it that good since repeal.
Ha! Yeah, that's prohibition stuff. I'm a copper.
Maybe you are.
What? Say, listen, Bascom. How are we going to do business if you hand me that kind of chatter? I'm on the level.
Did Sneed tell you what I wanted to talk to you about?
He said you had a job you wanted pulled.
That's right. Did he tell you what?
You tell me.
Okay. It's murder.
Murder? Like the advertisements say, that's a nasty word. Let's say bump off.
I'd call it what you like. Ever done anything like it before?
Look, Bascom, here's my gat. See those notches?
Yeah.
Well, I read once in a story where a tough guy out west used to put a notch in his gat for every guy he'd rubbed out. So I thought it was a good idea. Count 'em.
2, 4, 8, 12. 12 bump-offs?
Sure.
Okay, I'm sold. Now listen, Bryan. There's a dame I want bumped. Only you can't use your rod.
Why not?
Well, the neighbors might hear the shot, and anyhow, I want it to look like a burglary.
How about gas?
No, I got a better plan. There's a steel bar in the closet off the bedroom in this joint. I'll give you a key to the spot, and you can let yourself in and hide in the closet until the dame comes in. And then you can beat her ears in with this steel bar.
How about a rod? Does she have a rod? I don't want her to blow me down.
Well, there's an old gun in that desk, but she don't know how to use it, and anyhow, it ain't loaded. I loaded it myself a week ago.
Say, who is this dame you're so anxious to get bumped?
What's it to you? I'm paying you for the job, ain't I?
Yeah? But how much?
Well, how much would you expect for a job like this?
Well, here's the setup. I gotta get back to Toledo, and I gotta get a front. I can't go in there like this, and I want to get there fast. I think my twist is giving me the double, see? So I'll do the job for 2 C's. I think $200 will see me through.
That's a little high.
Take it or leave it.
Okay, I'll take it.
Half now and half on, shall we say, delivery of the body?
Well, I ain't got that cash on me right this minute.
How do I know you won't take a powder on me?
Do I look like a Wilson mouse?
Well, when do I get the payoff, then?
When did you pull the job?
Anytime you say.
Okay, this afternoon.
So this afternoon it is. Do I get the payoff this afternoon, too?
Yeah.
Where? Here?
No, meet me at the corner of 8th and Vermont. I'll pay off there.
Okay. How do I get into the joint?
I'll hear the keys. It's at 1830 South Henderson.
1830 South Henderson.
Yeah.
Okay, what is it? A bungalow, a court, or what?
A big stucco house. You go out there now and let yourself in. Hide in the closet. She'll be back from a luncheon engagement about 2:30. And when she comes in, let her have it.
Okay. And I'll see you at 8th and Vermont in 2 hours. And see that you have the dough with you.
Don't worry. I will.
While Bryan leaves on his errand of death, Bascom, unable to contain himself, dropped in at Flo's apartment.
Hello, Daddy. What's on your mind?
got a little news for you that couldn't wait.
Yeah? What is it?
Just come by to tell you it won't be long now.
What do you mean, it won't be long now?
Mildred's committing suicide this afternoon.
Yeah? On the level?
On the level.
When you gonna do it?
I ain't gonna do it.
What do you mean?
Guy's doing it for me.
A guy's doing it for you, huh?
Yeah.
You ain't got the nerve to do it yourself. I thought you was a man. Why, you sniveling Welcher, I'm sick and tired of you. I thought you loved me. I thought you loved me enough for anything. You hadn't even got the nerve to bump your wife off. Bullet Bascom, the tough guy. Bullet Bascom, the big baby.
I've been asking for this for a long time, Flo, and now you're gonna get it. A nice, healthy smack in the kisser.
Oh, sugar, really?
Don't hand me that stuff, I mean it. So long, you tramp.
Meanwhile, Buckeye Bryan lets himself into the Bascom residence, pockets the gun from the desk drawer, finds the steel bar in the closet, and is waiting by the door when Mrs. Bascom returns home.
Well, well, and here comes the victim herself. Step right into the parlor, said the spider to the fly.
Who's there?
Just me, Mrs. Bascom.
Who are you?
I'm Buckeye Bryan, ma'am. A tough killer from Toledo, Ohio.
What are you doing in my house?
I've got a date to murder you.
What's the matter with you? Are you crazy or something?
No, I'm quite sane. Your husband, your model husband, has just employed me to bump you off for $200.
You get out of here right now.
See, here's the key to your house. Your husband gave it to me.
What?
This iron bar I'm holding was in the closet, just where he told me it would be. I'm supposed to bash in your skull with it.
Well, you frighten me when you talk like that. If you don't leave the house this minute, I'll get my gun and...
Don't trouble yourself. I already have your gun in my pocket, see? Wouldn't have done you much good. Your husband thoughtfully unloaded it so that you couldn't defend yourself.
Well, you must be insane. My husband hired you to... Why, fantastic. Bullet's the finest man in the world. He's utterly devoted to me.
That's what you think.
Well, he'll teach you to talk that way in a minute.
What do you mean?
Here he comes up the walk right now.
What?
Sure. See through that window?
I want you to go into the bedroom there, Mrs. Bascom, and close the door. I've got to see him alone.
Well, I certainly will not. Stop pushing me. Bullet! Help!
Now, Mrs. Bascom, listen to me. If you value your life, do as I say. I'm your friend. Get into that bedroom and stay there till I call you.
No.
Please don't make any noise. You must trust me.
But why? I don't understand.
Quiet. Here he comes. Hello, Bascom. Thought you were going to meet me at 8th and Vermont.
Is she home yet? You ain't.
Sure she's home. I just pulled it. Oh. Don't worry, I made it look like robbery. They won't hang nothing on you.
Well, it ain't that. I changed my mind.
Well, this is a fine time to change your mind.
Yeah. I guess it was really her I loved all the time. It was that tramp Flo that talked me into this.
Oh, I get it. Another dame, huh?
Are you sure she's dead? Is there any chance of saving her?
Not a chance. When I swing a hunk of steel like this, they're bumped off for keeps.
Put that thing away. Put it away. Don't wave it in front of me like that.
Well, the job's done, Bascom. Now, if you'll slip me the payoff, I'll be on my way.
The payoff? You expect me to pay you for murdering my wife?
Oh, well, Welcher, huh?
I'll get you for this. You'll stretch from the end of a rope.
What are you grabbing that phone for?
I'm going to call the police.
Call the police. That's a good one.
And don't try anything with that bar. I'm covering you with this gas, see?
Don't get so excited, Bascom. Save yourself the effort of phoning.
What do you mean?
Looks like a couple of dicks coming up to the house now. I guess your wife screamed too loud when I let her have it. The neighbors called the cops.
Why, it is the police. That's a squad car out in front. You're washed up, Brian. You bought a one-way ticket to the hot place when you murdered my Mildred.
Yeah, what'll the jury say when I tell my story?
They won't believe you.
What about Jack Sneed?
Well, he won't squeal.
No, he won't, huh?
Just a minute, I'm coming. There he is, officers. Arrest that man. He just murdered my wife.
Hello, boys.
Don't move, Brian. I'll let you have it.
I think you better give me that gun, Mr. Bascom. I'll take charge of things now.
Don't worry, Bascom. I just want to produce the body. I believe that's customary in cases like this, isn't it, Inspector? Habeas corpus or something like that?
That's right.
Will you come out now, Mrs. Bascom?
Mildred! Oh, are you all right? Is it really you? Oh, my God.
What's this all about, Jim? Who are these men? What's this about having me murdered? I'm all confused.
I don't know, honey. I don't know. The only thing that matters is that you're all right.
I believe introductions are in order, Mrs. Bascom. I'm Inspector Davidson of the Los Angeles Homicide Squad. And this man here, whom your husband knows as Buckeye Bryan, and whom he hired to murder you, is one of our most valued assistants, Detective Lieutenant Tommy Bryan.
What? So you're a dick. Were you double...
Bascom, none of that.
Don't hurt him.
Never resist an officer, Bascom. Although in this case, I want to thank you. I've been wanting an opportunity to smack you one ever since I met you. Got your cuffs with you, Inspector?
All right. Stick out your arms, Bascom.
Say, this is a frame-up. I don't know what you're talking about. Somebody's...
Save your breath, Bascom.
Oh, you ain't got a thing on me, not a thing.
Oh, you're forgetting your friend, Jack Sneed.
What about him?
Well, Bascom, your friend Sneed came to us and tipped us off. My disguise of Buckeye Bryan was the result. When I left your restaurant an hour ago, I called Inspector Davidson and asked him to meet me here. In the meantime, Bill Clark, Condapper, and Ryan are staked out at 8th and Vermont waiting for you. But you've saved us that trouble by walking into our arms right here. The only thing I regret is that you didn't pay off. That blood money would have looked good in evidence. But we'll put you away in any case. Your friend Sneed, you see, will be the state's star witness when they bring you to trial for conspiracy to commit murder.
No. It's a frame-up. You can't do it. Mildred, honey, you don't believe him, do you? You're trying to railroad me. It's a lie. The whole thing's a dirty double-crossing lie. You don't believe your daddy would do such a thing? Do you, Mildred, honey? Do you?
I don't know what to believe.
Bascom's crime, in the eyes of the law, was not very great, horrible as it undoubtedly is to every decent citizen listening tonight. We sent him to the courts and tried him and found him guilty. But the most the law could give him was a year in the county jail. He served his term, was released, and went back to the bewildered Mrs. Bascom, who, trusting soul, to this day does not believe that her husband plotted to kill her. Bascom will not try it again. He learned his lesson from the vitriolic Flo, who wanted him not as much as she desired him to prove how much he wanted her. Had our homicide squad not been on its toes, they would have been a murder to solve instead of one to prevent. And as I said at starting, the primary function of your police is to prevent crimes rather than solve them. For if we efficiently prevent them through our own activity and the education of the public to the futility of crime, ergo, we will have no more crimes to solve.
Thank you, Chief Davis. Police officials of leading western cities and counties have enthusiastically adopted Rio Grande cracked gasoline because they have proved by actual tests that this gasoline operates police and emergency cars at a lower cost per mile, yet creates greater speed and power than any other gasoline. You will find in your own car that you enjoy faster acceleration and make greater speed with cracked gasoline. But such speed is doubly dangerous. For safety's sake, police warn you to stay within speed limits and keep the extra power of Rio Grande cracked in reserve for driving emergencies. High speeds also endanger your motor, for most motor oils break down when your engine speeds up. To protect your motor from damage at all times, even at highest speeds, Rio Grande dealers offer you Sinclair, Pennsylvania, and Sinclair Opaline motor oils. Both of these famous brands are refined by a method as revolutionary as the Sinclair cracking process for gasoline. All useless petroleum jelly is extracted from Sinclair motor oils to ensure a protecting film of oil that won't break down. Your Rio Grande dealer can supply you with Sinclair, Pennsylvania, or Sinclair Opaline motor oils, absolutely jelly-free, in tamper-proof, extra-measure cans.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all cars. A cancellation broadcast 103 regarding an attempt murder. Suspect in this case is now in custody. That's all. Rosenquist.
This is Frederick Lindsley bidding you good night. Calling all cars, a copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Pasadena Police calling all cars, attention all cars, broadcast 104. Go to Columbia and Orange Grove Avenues at once. Be on the lookout for a car with two men believed to be bandits who just robbed the Pasadena National Bank. These men are armed and desperate. That's all.
Thousands of boys and girls have joined the Rio Grande Junior Police Department. They are equipped with junior police badges, Sam Brown belts, police pistols, siren whistles, handcuffs. Thousands of girls are wearing the sergeant's ring and the identification bracelet. All these and many other articles comprising the junior detective outfit are furnished absolutely free of charge by the Rio Grande Oil Company. We invite every boy and girl to join the junior police and to enjoy the many free gifts. Just go to any independent dealer selling Rio Grande cracked gasoline, and he'll give you a free copy of the latest issue of the Calling All Cars News, which tells you how to get the complete junior detective outfit absolutely free. And now a word of warning to the parents of these boys and girls. You are using Rio Grande cracked gasoline in your car because you believe that the gasoline used by more police cars, fire engines, police motorcycles, ambulances, and emergency equipment than any other brand must be the fastest gasoline you can buy. That's true. But frankly, the lively power of Rio Grande cracked gasoline is a constant temptation to drive faster than you should. We warn you against yielding to that temptation. Police have declared a war on speeders as relentless as their war on crime. Save that extra speed for emergencies, when you've got to get out of the way quick to avoid collisions. Police cars use Rio Grande cracked gasoline because they have proved by tests in a score of cities that during the long hours of slow cruising over city streets, 24 hours a day, Rio Grande cracked is the most economical gasoline they can buy. But when the emergency comes, when the police car must leap to top speed instantly, then you see why police specify Rio Grande cracked. It has the most tremendous reserve power of any gasoline. An extra refining process gives cracked gasoline that extra speed to meet emergencies. And yet these extra advantages cost you no more. You can get Rio Grande cracked at the same price you pay for ordinary gasoline and enjoy police car performance at no extra cost. It is our pleasure now to present Chief James E. Davis of the Los Angeles Police Department.
Good evening, friends. I have often emphasized on these programs the necessity for close cooperation between various law enforcement bodies. Tonight, we have asked a man whose cooperation I value highly to be our guest. It is from the files of his police department that the case you're about to hear was dramatized. Friends, it is my great pleasure to present Chief of Detectives Stanley Decker of the Pasadena Police Department.
Thank you, Chief Davis. I feel indeed honored to be a guest on Calling All Cars and to have the opportunity to bring to the radio audience of the West a story from our files. The case which you will hear shortly is a vivid proof of the willingness with which your police officer will risk his very life that your property may be preserved and the peace of your community be maintained. When you consider the modest income for which your policeman works, when you consider how little of golden opportunity his occupation holds for him, you may well be amazed at the dangers he is willing and eager to meet on your behalf. If you will pardon my understandable enthusiasm, your policeman is a great fellow, deserving of your highest respect, admiration, and support.
March 20th, 1924. Into the Ford agency in the quiet little town of Alhambra walks a young man, looks at several cars, beckons to the salesman on duty.
You're looking for something in the way of transportation?
Yeah, I thought maybe you might have a good used job here that wasn't priced too high. I'm only in town for a couple of months. I don't want to spend a lot of dough on a car. Just want something to get around in. Have you got something pretty reasonable?
Yeah, let me see now. I'll tell you what. I think I've got just the car for you. It's a 23 Ford, in the very best of condition. New rubber, fine paint job. Runs like $1 million.
How much?
I'll tell you what I'll do for you. I'll make it $250, and that's a buy.
Yeah, it probably is, but not for me. I don't want to spend over $100. And you got a car that'll get me around for that price?
$100? Oh, of course, that's not very much money, but perhaps I can find something.
How about that old coupe over there? Looks as though it ought to be around $100.
That automobile for $100? Why, that's a good car. We just spent a lot of money fixing it up. I could let you have it for $175, maybe.
No, 100 flat, and that's my price. Haven't anything to fit my purse, I guess I'll have to look around somewhere else.
Wait a minute. Tell you what I'll do. I'll speak to the boss and see what he says. Maybe I can get you a better price on it.
Don't go to too much trouble.
Oh, not at all. No trouble. If you'd like to look the car over, I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. I'll take a look at the bus. Maybe I won't want it after I look it over.
You'd be making a mistake. It's a mighty clean job.
Never saw it to fail. Start to walk out and they'll practically pay you to take the car away. Well, the door works anyway. Wonder if it runs. Got a starter, at least I won't have to crank it. It runs. Not good, but good enough to get as far as I'm going.
Well, I've got good news for you. The boss says it's okay at $100, and I say that's a real buy.
You would. Well, I guess it'll get me around all right.
If you'll just step over to the office here, we can make out the papers.
Okay.
You're right in here.
Thanks.
You want to pay cash?
Yeah, I'll give you a check for it.
A check? You haven't got the cash, have you?
Of course not. You don't think I'm walking around with $100 in my pocket, do you? As a matter of fact, I only got in town a little while ago. Haven't even established credit here.
You got a check on a local bank?
Better than that. Got a cashier's check on the Mutual Bank in Chicago. It certainly ought to be good enough.
Would you mind letting me see it? Just a formality, of course. The boss is kind of particular about our taking checks.
Here it is. Good as gold. That's the biggest bank in Chicago's failed since I left there 5 days ago.
Mm-hmm. It's made out for $150.
Sure, I don't happen to have one for $100 even. But I figured I could get $50 in cash. Isn't that all right?
Well, yeah, I guess so. Check seems to be all okay. Now, if you just sign this receipt here, I'll endorse the pink slip over and you're all set.
Fine. On this line?
That's right.
There you are. The John Henry complete.
Edward Fell, Chicago, Illinois. And here's the pink slip on the Ford. Thanks a lot, Mr. Fell. I'm sure you'll get a lot of satisfaction out of the car.
I hope so. And thanks for getting me such a good price. I won't forget it.
A check for $150 on the Mutual Bank of Chicago?
That's right, Sergeant. This morning it comes back marked, not issued to this bank. So I want you to find this man and get my money back.
Well, I doubt if he'll have much of it left. We'll try to pick him up for you. Now, if you'll give me a description of the car, I'll start the boys looking for it.
There's a 1921 Ford Coupe.
What color?
Black. The license number is 133745.
133745. All right, Mr. Jones. We'll get after it right away and let you know as soon as we get any trace of it.
I'm telling you, Adam, if things don't get better pretty soon, I'm going to close up the store. I don't know what's the matter with people. Maybe they ain't painting anymore.
Maybe you need some advertising, George. That fellow makes gum. He says, tell 'em quick and tell 'em often. And he sells plenty of gum.
Yeah, there's a lot of difference between something you chew and a can of paint. No, sir, it ain't advertising I need. It's the customer.
Well, ain't much use in talking about it. That won't sell no paint. How about a little game of rummy?
You're on. That is, if I can remember where I put the cards last time we played. I think it's somewhere on this counter here. No, ain't here.
I tell you, George, you're getting absent-minded like. I was reading just the other day about a scientist fellow who says that the American people are losing the knack of concentration, or something like that. He says we all ought to read more, stimulate the mind.
Yeah. Here they are, right where I put them on this shelf. Set up the table, Adam, while I get the chairs.
Don't give me the one you did last time. Darn thing like to have fallen apart with me a-sitting in it. Look, George, you got a customer, maybe.
Yeah. Good afternoon, sir. You'll be wanting some paint?
Yeah, quite a lot of paint. I got a couple of barns to cover.
What do you have in mind? Outside paint?
Yeah, a couple of gallons of that and some good inside enamel, too. Got a lot of brushwork to do.
Well, I've got some mighty fine house paint here that ought to do the trick. What color do you think you'd be wanting?
Oh, white, I guess. Yeah, plain white will be fine.
Well, here's the best paint I ever seen for rough work.
How much is it?
Ought to be a mark here on the bottom of the can. Adam, you remember the price on this stuff?
Why don't you look on that there list you made out? It's hanging right there in front of your nose.
Oh, yes. Let me see. White, rough finish, gold wash paint. $3 a gallon.
$3 a gallon, huh? Well, I'll need about 3 gallons of that and a couple of quarts of white enamel.
Yes, sir. This here enamel is about the best for the money. 50 cents a quart.
Okay. I guess that's about all. You got a pen?
Pen?
Yeah, you know, something you write in ink with.
Well, now, I don't know exactly whether I have one around here. Now, Adam, You got that fountain pen of yours with you?
Yep. Here you are.
Oh, thank you. Here you are, mister.
Good. I've got a cashier's check here for $50. I'll be all right, won't it?
$50? Whew.
What's the matter? Have you got that much money?
Well, I ain't got it right here on hand, but I guess I can get it next door.
Well, I hope so. I haven't got any cash on me, and I got to get this paint now so I can get started on those barns right away. Of course, you haven't got it. I can go to another paint store.
Oh, no. I'll get it all right, I think.
George, can I see you a moment?
Oh, sure. Pardon me a minute, mister.
Yeah, go right ahead.
George, I got enough in my wallet to cash that check if you want.
You got... Where'd you get all that money?
It's for the payment on the house. It ain't due till tomorrow, and you can get that check cashed at the bank before then. Here, you want it?
I'll say I do. This is the first $10 sale I've made so long, and I just can't afford to lose it.
All right, here, take it.
Thanks a lot, Adam. I appreciate that. Here you are, mister. $40 even. The paint come to just 10.
Okay, here's your check. Well, good afternoon, gentlemen.
And good afternoon.
Afternoon. Well, George, as someone once said, speak to the devil.
And the money was for the monthly payment on the house of my friend here. So you see, Sergeant, you just got to do something about it.
Well, if you'll just take it easy now, maybe I can get some sense out of this thing. Now, you say the fella gave you this check for $10 worth of paint, eh?
That's right, and it ain't any good.
And it's the only money I got, and if I don't make that payment, the old lady'll kill me.
All right. Just try to keep yourselves under control and stick to the facts. Now, can you give me a description of him?
Well, as I remember, he was about my height, maybe 10 or 15 pounds heavier.
No, George, you're wrong. He was at least an inch taller than you.
I say he was about my height, Adam. Wasn't I standing right there in front of him, wasn't I?
Yes, and you were on them floorboards behind the counter, and they're all of an inch thick, so that proves my point.
All right, boys, all right. Suppose you wait till you get home for the rest of the argument. We'll say height, approximately 5 feet 7 inches. Now, can you tell me anything more about him? Color of his hair, clothes he wore?
Well, I'd say his hair was sort of dark, almost black, and he had a regular...
No, that's wrong. His hair was
Adam,
brown.
I was standing right there looking at him. I don't know what it is.
Alhambra Police calling all cars. Attention all cars. Attention all patrolmen. All sheriff's men. Be on the lookout for a man going under the name of Edward Fell, passing bad checks for $50 and $150. Inform all merchants in the city to watch for checks on Mutual Bank of Chicago and report anyone attempting to cash one at once. Description as follows. Height approximately 5 feet 7 inches. Back hair.
Hello, operator. Give me the police department. That's right.
Alhambra Police Department. Yes, Sergeant speaking.
Hello, Sergeant. This is the Fit Fine Haberdashery. There's a fellow in here just bought some clothes and wants me to cash a $50 cashier's check on the Mutual Bank of Chicago. I'll try to stall him till you can get someone over here, but make it fast.
I'll keep him there, and I'll have a couple of the boys over in no time.
Okay, but hurry, will you? I don't like the looks of this bird. He might try to get tough.
Don't worry, just stall him along.
Okay, goodbye. If you'll just have a seat, Mr. Fell, I'll have the money over for you in a minute. We've been keeping very little cash on hand here the last few weeks, as there have been a couple of robberies in this district. I just phoned, and the manager will be right over with the money.
I haven't got much time. It don't take him too long to get here.
Well, I'm sure it won't. He said it would only be a matter of a couple of minutes. Could I show you something in shirts or socks while we're waiting? We have some of the very latest patterns in shirting. Now, here's one with a pinstripe that's becoming very fashionable this season.
I don't want any shirts.
Well, some handkerchiefs, perhaps. I have a wonderful buy in linen handkerchiefs that might interest you. Here, just feel the quality of this linen. It's the very best Irish linen to be found anywhere in this country.
Yeah, nice, all right. I might buy a few of these someday. How much are they?
75 cents. And that's the fairest price I've ever heard of for real Irish linen.
Did you call?
Oh, this is the man, officer.
All right, young fella. Get your hands up over your head and don't be wasting any time about it.
Hey, what's the idea? What's going on here?
I think you know well enough. Stick out your wrist.
I certainly will not. I haven't done anything.
Maybe this will make you change your mind. A little bit of jiu-jitsu an old Japanese friend of mine taught me. Are you coming along peaceful like, young fella? Or am I going to have to drag you?
All right, you don't have to get rough. I'll go.
That's a smart lad. That way, there's no chance of anybody getting bruised up a bit. Come on. Cars are waiting at the curb.
Thus, the first chapter of Bad Check Passer Edward Fell comes to a sudden close. Sentenced to 1 to 5 years in the county jail, he spends less than a month in custody. His then released on probation. 3 weeks later, he is arrested by the Los Angeles police on forgery charges. Spends 2 weeks in jail. Is dismissed because of lack of evidence. In December 1924, the name Edward Fell again appears on the police blotter in Los Angeles on suspicion of robbery charges. But once again, the law finds itself unable to gather sufficient evidence for a conviction, and forger Robber Fell walks out of the city jail a free man. December 31st, 1925, Sergeant Coons of Central ushers a man into the office marked Los Angeles robbery detail.
Morning, Captain. I brought you that fellow we picked up last night on suspicion of robbery.
Yes, thank you, Sergeant. Well, it's you again, eh, Fell?
Yeah.
You know, Sergeant, there's something mighty funny about this fellow. He's been in here 3 times now, and within a week or two, he's always been back on the outside.
I proved every time I had nothing to do with the rap you're trying to hang on me.
Perhaps you proved it, Fell, but I know just as well as you do that you're as guilty as the devil.
Why don't you tell your boys to lay off me, Cap? Makes it tough on a guy trying to get a decent job. And every time he walks into a joint, an armful of bulls muscle in through the door and drag him off. You know how it is.
I know how it is, all right. Now you listen, Fell. You're heading into a whole lot of trouble for yourself one of these days. I know we can't hold you on this charge. Maybe you'll be in 2 or 3 more times and walk out again. But one of these days, you're going to find yourself right smack in the center of plenty of grief.
Yeah, you think you bulls are pretty wise guys. You have an idea that someday you're going to frame me and make it stick. Well, there isn't a cop on your force smart enough to get me for keeps. Now, how about telling this yes man of yours to let me out of here?
Okay, Phil. I'll remember that little speech of yours. Sergeant, show this gentleman.
So, egoist Edward Fell once again walks out of the shadow of jail, mingles with the crowd, chuckles inwardly at the stupidity of the law, and the law.
103rd Precinct. Desk Sergeant speaking.
Jail, Fulton 39675. Notify all patrolmen of deck activities of one Edward Fell. Record 41531. Notify this office of any suspicious movement.
That all of it?
That's all. Los Angeles robbery detail.
Adams, 36th Precinct. Had a report on Fulton 39675 concerning movements of one Edward Fell. Was seen in company of one Ward Felder. I checked on Felder. He has no record, but he's been mixed up in 1 or 2 shady deals.
Good. Keep a couple of the boys on him and report anything else you discover.
Okay.
Yeah, and supposing something goes wrong, what happens then?
Nothing can go wrong. I tell you, these bulls over in Pasadena haven't got brains enough to catch cold. Then they've gotten wise to the fact that we've busted in their tin bank, we'll be clear out of it on our way. I tell you, Ward, I've got what it takes. They haven't made a rap stick on me yet, have they?
No, but there's always a first time.
What you need is a drink. Hey, George, come here, will you?
How about these boys in here? They all right?
They better be. Now, with what I know about them, they wouldn't dare open up their mouths to the law. One little phone call, and out come the pro eyes. Find this little speakeasy, and wham, over they go.
I guess you do know your way around all right, Eddie.
Sure. Stick around, and you'll go places. Hey, George, how about it?
Okay, boys. What'll it be this time? Make it another fizz for me.
Right, good, George, and make it better than that last one, will you? A little soup in it.
Always the same crack, eh? More gin, more soup. Okay, boys, I'll make this one right.
That's the spirit. Make it powerful.
Powerful. That's the order, powerful. Make it a gin fizz and a sidecar. You sure you're not hitting those sidecars too heavy, Eddie?
Listen to him hitting them too heavy. Ward, my boy, I've yet to see the day when liquor began to think for me. My mind's as clear as it ever was.
Okay. I was only thinking that you might talk too much if you got a little oil. Forget it.
Okay, it's forgotten. Now, here's the idea. Think it over and sleep on it tonight. By morning, you'll see how good it is. There's a bank over in Pasadena that's got plenty of dough laying around waiting for a couple of smart guys like us to pick it up.
What, in a vault?
They call it a vault. Looks to me like a tin can. You can cut through it and nothing flat. Scoop up a few grand and drift. It's a pipe.
Yeah? Where are you going to get the equipment?
That's all fixed, too. I know a guy that works in a welding shop. I talked him into renting me a torch and cutting nozzle. He thinks I'm working on a car in my own garage. We'll pick up the stuff in the evening and take it over to the house and put it in the garage. Then later we can pick it up and head to the bank. There's nothing to it.
Hey, now, boys. These ought to fix you up fine. They're what I like to call my super drinks.
I'll tell you what I think of them after I've tasted mine.
Go ahead and see what you think.
Well, I've tasted better. There's more to it than that last apology for a drink you brought me.
Well, always on the beef, eh? Well, I'm losing money on this here drink, I'll tell you that much.
Hey, George, me a drink, sir.
Here I got you, boys.
George is taking a chance of serving any more liquor to that gang. I plastered now.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to business. What do you say?
Well, are you sure about this guy with the torch?
Sure. I'm going to see him tonight. Just to sort of chew the fat with him for a while about the car I'm building. You know, the one I need the torch for.
Yeah, pretty smooth.
Just as smooth as knocking that bank over will be. How about it?
Well, I'll tell you what, Eddie. Suppose you go see this guy tonight, and I'll meet you here tomorrow and tell you.
Okay, Ward. I'm not the one to rush things. I'll see you here at 1:30 tomorrow. And here's to us.
Yeah, here's to us. Oh, I've decided it's a go, Eddie.
That's the way to talk. I knew you would. Now, we got to make a little change in our plans.
What's the matter? Something go wrong?
No, don't look so worried. I got to thinking last night about this cutting stuff. I figured maybe it'd be a better idea if we didn't try that angle.
Well, I thought you were all set on it.
Sure I was. This guy that's got the torch began to get a little inquisitive last night, wanted to come over and help me with my car and all that. Put me in a spot, so I figure we just better skip him.
Yeah, well, what do we do then?
We'll stick up the bank. It's better that way anyway. Walk in early in the morning just as the bank opens and slip the cashier a note.
I don't like that idea so much.
Listen, Ward, nothing can happen if we work fast. You can wait out in the car, and I'll handle the whole stick-up myself. All you have to do is be there with the car when I come out, and then drive like the devil.
Well, all right. I guess if you think it's okay, it's all right with me. I'll still go.
Good. And call for a drink. George! Hey, George!
Yeah, what is it?
Make it 2 more, and don't forget the soup.
2 more coming up. How about figuring out our moves, huh?
Sure. When we get away from the bank, we'll head out Colorado to Orange Grove. Then straight on.
It is the morning of August 17th, 3 days later. Officer Ralph L. Shadd of the Pasadena Police Force, off duty, is just entering the Gardner Auto Works on the corner of Colorado and Vernon to pick up his car when...
Now, what in the devil?
All right, what is that?
Okay.
Hello, Ralph. What's all the noise about out there?
I don't know, Bill. You mind if I use your phone a minute?
No, go right ahead. Gonna call the station?
Yeah. Hopefully nothing important, but you know me, just a bundle of curiosity.
Operator.
Give me the police station.
One moment, sir.
I was just bringing the car in for that tune-up you promised me, Bill. If you got time, Oh, hello.
Pasadena Police. Desk Sergeant speaking.
Oh, hello, this is Shadd. What's going on?
Plenty. You got a car?
Yeah, but what the...
A couple of guys just held up the National Bank on Fair Oaks and Vernon. Get out to Columbia and Orange Grove Avenues as fast as you can and watch for them. They're in a star touring car, and at least one of them is armed.
Okay, Sergeant.
Well, what's the dope?
I'm sorry, Bill. I can't stay to tell you now. I'm in a big hurry.
Harrison and Walker are covering the Colorado Street Bridge. Shadd proceed to Columbia and Orange Grove right away.
Hey, little girl. You seen anything of a star touring going like the devil?
No, I haven't, mister.
How long you been here?
Oh, a couple of hours.
Good. That means they haven't gotten out of town this way.
Hey, mister, here comes a car, and there's cops after him. Is that the man you was looking for?
I wouldn't be a bit surprised, girlie. Get out of line. There may be shooting.
Oh, gee.
Bandit car reported passing Columbia and Orange Grove approximately 3 minutes ago. Motorcycle Officer Ewing, Officer Shadd, Harrison, and Walker directly behind, exchanging gunfire. Instruct all available cars and motorcycles to follow.
Keep down, Fred. Those boys are throwing plenty of lead. You're telling me. I'm afraid to take a crack at their tires for fear of hitting Ewing.
Yeah, that boy's got plenty in the ball riding up there right behind all that hot lead on the motorcycle.
Harry, look. Ewing's hit. He's going to spill. Oh, you going to stop?
No, we're going to stay with him. Somebody will take care of Ewing.
I can get a shot at their tires now. There. That should have done the trick. Oh, Fred, did that get you?
Yeah, in the chest, but go on. I can make it all right.
Out like a light. I gotta get him to a hospital.
out there at once.
If I can hit those tires before I run out of horse. That's it. They're stopping. Hold! In the name of the law, hold, or I'll let you have it. Well, you asked for it. I'll hold you for a while. All right, you. Drop that gun or I'll have to kill you, too.
All right, don't shoot, please.
Drop that gun.
Okay, but don't shoot, please.
Well, that's better. Now walk over here with your hands in the air.
Okay. But don't shoot, will you? I don't want to go down like Ed. Oh, that's awful.
All right, cut out the moaning and stick out your hands. I'll fix you so you can't play games. Oh, what's the matter? Too tight for comfort? Now, isn't that too bad?
Well, you got him, huh, Ralph?
Where's the other one? He's resting over by that tree. I think he'll stay that way for some time, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice work. You sort of turned into a one-man police force, Chad.
Hey, which reminds me of something.
What's the idea of reloading your gun? You don't need it now.
I just wanted to see something. Boy, am I lucky.
What do you mean?
Oh, nothing, except that when I winged that other bird over by that tree there, I used my last cartridge. And you, little man, with the cuffs on, were looking into the business end of an empty gun.
So just 20 short minutes after Fell and Pelter made their daring raid on the bank, the long arm of the law reached out. Hill Fell snapped the handcuffs on Pelter. Officer Fred Walker's wounds were not as serious as at first feared. Motorcycle Officer Ed Ewing suffered no more than superficial cuts and abrasions as a result of his fall. Officer Shadd's courage in facing an armed bandit, when he was reasonably sure that his gun was empty, stands as an eloquent tribute to the men that make up the Pasadena Police Department. It is instances like this that, in the final analysis, prove conclusively that the lawbreaker has very little chance with such men on his heels.
Thank you, Chief Decker. The exciting chase and capture of escaping criminals is only part of the work of police cars. Every hour of the day and night, thousands of police cars cruise through the streets of our cities, using the same roads that you use, making the same stops, climbing the same hills. What an ideal test for gasoline. The selection of Rio Grande cracked gasoline to power more police and emergency cars than any other brand is proof that you can get more economical operation from cracked gasoline, as well as greater power and speed. It costs no more to use the same Rio Grande cracked gasoline your police cars use.
Pasadena Police calling all cars. Attention all cars. Cancellation broadcast 104. Suspects in this case are now in custody. That's all.
Calling All Cars is written and produced by William N. Robeson. This is your narrator, Frederick Lindsley, bidding you good night for the Rio Grande Oil Company. Calling All Cars, a copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars. Attention all cars. Broadcast 106. Stand by to assist Captain Cato and Nick Harris on a special assignment. That's all. Rolls and quotes.
Rio Grande declares war on bootleg gasoline. Cut-price wars in the gasoline industry have created many Jip brands of the cheapest gasoline carelessly produced in crude bootleg stills. Low prices attract many motorists who don't realize the damage done to their motors by such carbon-laden mixtures. Because Rio Grande's sensational patented cracking process has made cracked gasoline a leader among the quality gasolines, Rio Grande assumes leadership in the oil industry's war on poor quality gasoline. Rio Grande refinery experts have perfected an entirely new gasoline to sell at a lower price, yet it is guaranteed to exceed United States government standards and specifications for safe motor fuel. And because Rio Grande cracked gasoline is famous for its use in more police cars, fire engines, and other emergency equipment than any other brand, we decided to name our new gasoline after the famous G-men who came to the aid of the police to stop bootlegging. We ask those of you who use low-priced gasoline to try Rio Grande G-Gas. Make no mistake, this new G-Gas is not cracked. Rio Grande cracked gasoline, for very little more per gallon, gives you 100% efficiency, police car performance, tetraethyl, and much greater value. But if your budget won't stand the extra pennies for superlative performance, then be a G-man. Get the finest gasoline made in the low-price field, Rio Grande G-Gas, the low-priced gasoline that's guaranteed to exceed government specifications. Now it is our pleasure to present Chief James E. Davis of the Los Angeles Police Department. Chief Davis.
Good evening, friends. You have heard me emphasize many times on these broadcasts the necessity for closer cooperation between various law enforcement agencies of the nation, state, county, and municipality. Very often, representatives of several or all of these forces meet in the investigation of a major crime. And unfortunately, more often than not, there is friction where there should be the smoothest cooperation. I have here in the studio with me tonight a man who, I am happy to say, has always worked with the closest kind of cooperation with my force. I consider him not only a close friend, but a very valuable auxiliary. When I know that Nick Harris has been brought into a case, I know that my men will have the finest kind of cooperation. Friends, it is a privilege for me to present one of the finest private detectives in the world, Nick Harris, who has opened his private files to bring you tonight's broadcast of Calling All Cars. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Harris.
Thanks, Chief. And I could say a lot of nice things about you, too. And good evening, everyone. I'm very happy to participate in the fine work this broadcast is doing. During the many years I've been a detective, I have constantly carried on what might be called missionary work in my attempt to educate the public to the fact that crime does not pay. For this reason, I have watched with interest the splendid work Calling All Cars has been doing for the past 2 years along these same lines. I was more than pleased to cooperate when I was asked if I had some material we might use for these broadcasts. The story we selected to dramatize tonight is a strange one, the sort of a story you might expect from the pen of an Edgar Allan Poe or a Conan Doyle. Yet it all happened, just as you will hear. Had the mastermind of this criminal been employed upon a more legitimate enterprise, he might have made himself many times the fortune he hoped to gain by his illegal activities. But criminals are funny that way. They never seem to learn that apparently the easy way of the lawbreaker is inevitably the hardest way. We, who every day see the fallacy of the criminal's psychology, can only hope that through our educational activities, those who may be contemplating a crime may be deterred before it's too late by the realization of the idiocy of breaking the law. Our story begins on an August morning, several years ago, when I received a telephone call from Wesley Barr, city editor of the Los Angeles Evening Herald. Wes was somewhat excited. He told me he had a mystery for me to solve and asked me to hurry over to the city room. 15 minutes after he called me, I was standing beside his desk.
Well, Wes, what's on your mind?
This note came in this morning's mail.
Yeah? What's it say?
Listen, it's addressed to the city editor, and it reads, If you will go to the Westlake district, you will find a man named Gavreau. When you find him, you will have the mastermind burglar. I am writing this to save some mother's innocent son. And it's signed A Friend of Humanity.
Well, what do you think about it?
Maybe it's a publicity stunt some Hollywood press agent is pulling, and maybe it's on the up and up.
Well, I've got a hunch it's on the level.
Well, if it's a publicity gag, I don't want to be the goat. And if it's legitimate, it's a matter for the police. So I thought I'd better send you out and get the lowdown.
Okay, Wes.
Only listen. If it turns out to be the real McCoy, you're giving me a scoop on it.
Don't worry, Wes. You'll get it. Exclusive.
So Nick Harris details a couple of men to investigate the hotels and apartment houses in the Westlake district for a man named Gavreau. The officers play in luck, for at the fifth place visited, they locate their man. An hour later, they are reporting to their chief.
We found a fellow by the name of Gavreau, registered the El Capitan Apartments on West 6. First name's George.
Yeah, what'd you find out about him?
Well, not much, but enough to sound suspicious.
Yeah, the manager of the El Capitan said he's a queer one.
What do you mean by that?
Well, he comes in and goes out at strange times.
Nobody knows anything about him. He keeps to himself all the time.
Well, sounds worth following up. You two boys go out there and shadow that bird. Find out where he spends his time and why.
Okay, Chief.
Watching their man whenever he leaves his apartment, the shadows soon discover that he makes daily visits to a trunk factory on Main Street. They interview the manager of the establishment.
Yes, gentlemen, what can I do for you?
Do you know a man by the name of Gavreau? George Gavreau?
Yes, indeed. He's a customer of mine.
What do you know about him?
Oh, nothing much. Why do you ask?
We're officers, doing a little job of investigation. We want to find out something about the man. We'd appreciate your help.
Well, of course, I'm always glad to help the law.
Well, all right, then. What do you know about Gavreau?
Well, as I said, I really don't know very much. I'm making a trunk for him. You know why? I think the guy's a nut.
What do you mean?
Well, he wants a trunk that's padded inside and has a small seat in it.
What?
Yes, and it's to have a false top that can be opened from the inside after the trunk has been locked.
Now, what the devil's all that for?
Well, he says he's going to do a Houdini act on the stage. But I tell you, I think he's daffy.
Well, he sure enough sounds daffy to me. But don't forget that note that branded him as a mastermind burglar. I'm beginning to like the looks of this case.
But it doesn't make any sense, Chief.
That's why I'm beginning to like it. I think maybe there is something here. When they start making no sense, you're just around the corner from the answer. Now, you boys go on out that guy's tail and don't lose sight of him, day or night. We may be surprised what we find out about him.
Well, Harry, how about it?
I followed him upstairs. He went into room 12. Had a key to it.
Now, what do you suppose that guy's up to? With a swell apartment on the El Capitan and a room in a dump like this out on South Flower Street.
Well, we better see what the landlady knows about him.
Okay.
Here's her apartment around here at the side.
Yes?
Do you have a tenant here by the name of Gavreau?
Yes?
He's in number 12, isn't he?
Yes.
What do you know about him?
Who wants to know?
Well, now, let's not get in an argument, lady. We're merely asking some questions.
Say, you look like cops to me.
Well, even if we are, we won't get you into any trouble.
Well, can I depend on that?
You can.
Well, I don't know nothing about Mr. Gavreau, excepting that he pays his rent in advance, and he hasn't slept in his bed since he took the room.
Oh, hasn't slept in his bed, eh?
Oh, that don't bother me none. If you don't sleep in it, I don't have to make it.
How long's he had the room?
Oh, about 10 days. Then now look here, I don't want you to go make no trouble for him. If all my roomers was as quiet as his, I'd like to be more...
Well, looks to me, boys, as though that Flower Street spot is our friend's hideout and center of operations.
I'm beginning to agree with you, Chief. It makes so little sense, there must be something to it.
Well, we'll find out soon enough. You boys go back there, rent the room next to his, install a dictograph in it, and stake out on him. I'll put another man on the outside to shadow him whenever he leaves the place.
Okay, Chief.
With a man constantly at the dictograph and another constantly shadowing Gavreau when he leaves the rooming house, the suspect is always under Nick Harris' surveillance. A few days later, Gavreau was seen scraping up an acquaintance with a boy about 19 in Westlake Park. He was followed to the Flower Street room, and once certain that Gavreau had gone to his room, the Harris operative joined his partner at the dictograph.
He just came in.
Yeah, I know it. I've been tailing him. Picked up a young kid over in the park. They're both in there now.
Put on those earphones and see what they're saying. I couldn't get close enough to hear them in the park.
How'd you like to make $20,000, kid?
Who wouldn't?
I'll put you next to that much dough if your game takes 2 chances.
Okay. What's the racket?
Want a shot of liquor first?
Not a bad idea.
Here you are.
Thanks. Here's how.
Right.
Now, what's the dope?
I'll have to tell you a little about my past to make the thing clear to you. When I was in the Army, I served in the intelligence corps. But it seemed to me that there was some way to get across the lines without taking the usual chances. After a bit of thinking, I figured out a way that worked very successfully.
What's that got to do with this idea of yours now?
Take it easy, kid. I'll come to that.
Okay.
I had a case made that, to all appearances, was just an ordinary packing case. But inside, I had it fixed so that I could hide there and be inside when the case was sent across the border. Then, when I was safe on the other side of the lines, I'd sneak out, get the dope I wanted, and climb back in again. My helpers would then get the case back across the lines, and there I was, safe and sound and in possession of all the information I wanted.
Say, that's pretty slick.
Well, it's along the same lines that I want to work now. But I need an assistant who can be trusted. That's where you fit in the picture.
Sure, I get it.
I'm having a trunk built that will look like any other trunk on the outside. But inside it will have everything needed to work a job. Now, when the trunk is finished, I'll get in it with all the tools I'll need, and you'll have it sent to a bank vault for storage.
Then when you get inside the vault, you'll get out and rob the bank and get back in again. It's pretty swell. But wait a minute. How'll you get in and out of the trunk without help?
That's where I've done the most work. To anyone looking at the outside of the trunk, it will be securely locked. But I've had a secret latch built that can be worked by me from the inside. So you see, it's perfect. All the plan needs is someone to help get the trunk in the bank and out again.
How'll you live while you're in there? You got to eat.
I've taken care of that, too. There's room for food and water. Everything I'll need for at least 3 days. And by that time, you will have taken the trunk out. Well, how about it? You want to go in on it?
You bet. I'm with you.
Well, that calls for a drink. Here's to our success.
Right.
Realizing that they have stumbled onto something big, the 2 operatives report their findings to Nick Harris, expecting to get the order to make an arrest at once. But Harris, knowing that if he arrests Gavreau at this point, he will have no case, no overt act having been committed, orders the 2 men to return to the dictograph plant and await the developments. This they do, and 3 days later, their patience rewarded. They overhear the following conversation.
Well, kid, we're ready to try the trunk out.
Swell.
I've got a bank all lined up. Tomorrow I want you to make arrangements to have the trunk placed in the vault next Friday. That'll give us 3 days. Then I want you to get the trunk out of there on the pretense that you decided to go away and you're taking the trunk with you. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I get it.
From the time I'm sealed up in there until I get out again, it's all up to you. You think you can handle it?
Yeah, I'm sure of it.
Good. Now, this afternoon you go and see the people at the bank. Tell them that you have valuables worth a lot of money in this trunk. Then, when that's done, there's nothing left for you but to...
And that's the story, Mr. Weinger.
But it's the most fantastic scheme I've ever heard, Mr. Harris. It's incredible.
Well, be that as it may, it's true. Now, I want to ask your cooperation in this matter. I want you to let the boy have the trunk moved into your vault.
But, Mr. Harris, do you realize the chance I take by doing that? Suppose something goes wrong and this plan of theirs works. Why, the bank has valuables stored in those vaults worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I assure you that nothing will go wrong, Mr. Weinger. I'll have men posted here in the bank. I'll be here myself. There isn't a possible chance of anything happening to your valuables.
You realize that if news of this thing leaked out to my depositors, I'd be ruined. No one would leave their belongings in the bank where such things happened. I don't feel at all right about this, Mr. Harris.
Well, naturally, I understand your feelings. But I can't see how you fail to realize the importance of this thing. I want to catch the criminal red-handed. This way, I can.
Well, there's something I don't think you know about our vaults, Mr. Harris. Every night, in order to protect the furs and things down there, we spray a chemical solution into the vaults that is powerful enough to kill a man. If this criminal ever does get in, he won't be alive in the morning.
Ah, that puts a different light on things, doesn't it?
Well, if you want your man alive, it does.
All right. I'll tell you what. If you'll allow the trunk to be put in there, I'll make an arrest before you close the vault. How's that?
Well, I suppose that would be all right.
That way, there'll be no danger of anything happening to your deposits, and I'll still have my man and a case against him. Will you agree to that? All right, Mr. Harris, I will. Good. All you have to do is to act as though you suspected nothing. I'll take care of the rest.
But the very next day, Gavreau suddenly changes his plans. Instead of a bank, he informs his assistant that he has selected the Cinemaland Storage Company for the robbery, that he has set the date for that week. Reporting at once to their chief, the men plan a new strategy.
Did Gavreau give any reason for his sudden change in plans?
He told the kid that on account of a lot of the screen stars being robbed lately, they'd put all their stuff in this storage place. There were a lot better pickings there than in the bank.
I see. Well, that changes our plans a little, but not seriously.
You're going to let them get into the storage warehouse, Chief?
Oh, I am. Then a few of us will pick up the boys, go into the building, and wait for our friend to make an appearance out of his magic trunk.
Won't he be surprised when he sees us?
I rather imagine he will. Not too happily surprised.
I'd sure like to get a look at the inside of that trunk.
Now I'd better go out and see the manager of the Cinemaland Storage Company and tell him about it.
Oh, you want us to stay with the dictograph, Chief?
Right. And if our genius makes another change of plans, let me know at once.
Well, don't worry, we will. But I hope he doesn't. I'd kind of like to finish this thing up.
Cheer up, boys. We should have Gavreau behind bars before the week is out.
It's unbelievable, that's what it is. Like a storybook.
Not quite as harmless as a storybook, but certainly a strange scheme.
What is it you want me to do?
Well, I'm not just sure of what day they'll bring the trunk in, but I'll have men stationed outside watching your place all the time. All you have to do is to act as though everything was all right. Have the trunk moved into the warehouse, and let my men take care of the rest.
And you're sure there won't be any slip-ups?
Absolutely. You needn't have a single fear.
Well, all right. But I wish they'd pick someplace else instead of here. It gives a fellow the creeps knowing that bandits are around. How do I know it's the right trunk?
I'll let you know. Now, don't worry about that.
I'm kind of nervous about it, but, well, I guess it's okay.
I was sure you'd see it that way. Thanks a lot. Don't worry.
Thus, the plans are carefully laid. An inescapable net is thrown around the Cinemaland storage building. A dozen Harris operatives are placed at strategic spots in the neighborhood. From the second story of a small building across the street, 2 men watch night and day. From the cab of a milk wagon parked down the street, 2 more men, seemingly intent on loading and unloading crates of milk, keep an alert eye on all passers-by. Meanwhile, in the offices of Nick Harris.
Nick, if you let this story leak out to a rival journal, I'll nail your skin to a fence. Don't forget that you promised me a scoop on it.
I'm not forgetting, Wes. I can't give you anything more than I already have until they make a move. When they do, you're in on it. Yes?
Detectives Klein and Cato here to see you, Chief.
All right, send them in.
Yes, sir.
What's up?
Nothing will do your rag any good, you old news hawk. Just Herman Klein and Ed Cato from Central. I sent for them.
Well, I guess I might as well leave you to talk to them. Let me know when things begin popping.
Come in. Hello, boys.
Oh, Nick.
You know Wes Barr, don't you?
Sure. How are you, Herman? Ed?
Hello, Wes. Might know we'd find you here if there was something breaking.
Sit down, boys. I thought you might be interested to know that we expect our little trunk genius to pull his act any minute now.
Good. I was beginning to think maybe you'd been running up the wrong alley or something.
No, we're in the right alley. It's just been a matter of waiting. But it looks as though we're just about to go, finally. Yes?
Operative 120, Chief. Gavreau has just locked himself in the trunk. The kid is supervising the loading of it onto a truck now.
Good. Stay with that trunk. Don't lose it no matter what happens. I'll head for the storage building at once.
Right.
Well, that was what we've been waiting for, boys. How about it, Wes? You still leaving, or do you want to go along?
What a question to ask me. Come on.
Picking up a newspaper cameraman on the way, Harris, Cato, Klein, and Barr roar out Sunset Boulevard to the warehouse. A block from their destination, they see a delivery truck pull up to the entrance of the building. 2 men jump out and let down the back gates.
Better cruise by and get a good look at him, Herman. When you get to the other corner, pull around it and park.
Okay, Nick.
Okay, Herman. Swing around here and stop. Barr, you and I had better cut across this lot. Herman, you and Cato walk up the other side of the street. We let him get the trunk inside, then pick up the kid.
Okay, Nick. Come on, Ed.
I hope the kid doesn't get wise and take it on the lam.
So far, he doesn't seem to have even noticed us. All wrapped up in his work.
Yeah. Hold it a minute, Wes. Light a cigarette or something. We don't want to get there until they've got that trunk inside.
Okay. Have one?
Thanks. All right. Let's go. They're inside. Here we are.
The kid's coming out.
Right. You see Herman and Ed?
Yeah, they're coming across the street.
Quiet. Pardon me, buddy. What's your name?
Huh? What's that?
What's your name?
Well, Ed Silver.
What's in that trunk?
What's it to you?
Maybe this will help.
A badge.
That's right. Now, how about it? What's in that trunk?
Why, some clothes.
Look here, Silver. This isn't going to do you any good. You told the people in that warehouse you had ore samples in that trunk, didn't you?
Well, yes, I guess I did.
Now it's clothes, eh, kid?
I don't know.
How long are you going to leave George in that trunk, Silver?
Oh, I knew something would happen. I knew something would happen.
All right, kid. We know all about it. You go up and see George?
Well, I guess I wasn't cut out to be a successful burglar. I had a feeling something was going to go wrong.
Come on, kid. Let's go up, boys.
Hey, got him, huh? Good. The trunk's up in the vault. You want to go up there now?
That's right.
The elevator's right over here.
Don't start things till I get my camera set up, will you, boys?
I wouldn't think of it. This is going to be something worth photographing.
This way. Through this vault door here.
Some door, that. Looks like a bank.
Looks like a bank. It is a bank. At least the vault itself, absolutely burglar-proof.
Yeah, we can see that it is.
There's the trunk. All right, Mac. Get your camera set.
Okay.
All ready?
Let it go.
All right, Gavreau. You might as well come out of there.
He's going to play possum.
Come on, George. Open up. Are you coming out, or do we bust this trunk to bits and pull you out?
Maybe he's smothered to death.
I don't think so. Gavreau, I'll give you just one more chance to do your Houdini and come out of there. If you don't, we're going to smash that trunk to bits and you with it.
Look, there's a whole piece of the trunk lifting up.
Come on out, Gavreau, and keep your hands in sight.
Don't shoot!
We're not shooting, Gavreau. That is a flashlight picture. Now stay where you are and you won't get hurt.
Will you look at that trunk? It's falling all apart.
Put the cuffs on him, boys.
Right. Come on, Houdini. Here's something for you to play with. See what you can do with them.
How'd you know I was in here?
We've known all about you for quite a while, Gavreau.
But how? No one knew but the kid and I.
We'll tell you all about it when we get you to the station, George.
And they got you too, kid.
Yeah, they got me.
Oh, that's too bad. I still don't see why it didn't work.
All right, Herman. Suppose you and Ed take them down and book them while we look through this trunk. I'm going to make a thorough examination of it.
Right. Come on, you two. We'll take a little ride.
I can't see why it didn't work. How could anyone know?
Ah, well, you look at all this paraphernalia, Wes. Cards to pass the time away, bandages and iodine in case of injury, a complete set of burglary tools, food, water. Well, this is practically a completely furnished house.
Did you get a picture of all this, Mac?
Sure. Didn't you see that guy knock the trunk to pieces when I set that flash powder off?
That's right. I'd almost forgotten it in the excitement. That was what scared Gavreau so. He thought he'd been killed.
So did I for a minute. Hey, you ought to be more careful with your flash guns, Mac. I thought Gavreau would come out shooting.
Which reminds me, that's the one thing he hasn't got in this trunk, a gun.
You're right. I guess he just figured it was a foolproof scheme and he wouldn't need one. He had just about everything figured but us.
Gavreau and the boy are held on charges of attempted burglary. When the day arrives for the trial,
Case of George Gavreau and Ed Silver versus Estate. Are the defendants present?
Gavreau is here, Your Honor, but I don't see the other defendant, Mr. Silver. Perhaps Mr. Harris knows.
He was supposed to be here, Your Honor. If the court pleases to take a short recess, I'll go over to the jail and see what's detaining him. We will take a short recess.
across the Bridge of Sighs goes Nick Harris to the old county jail, scrutinizing the prisoners he passes, looking for the strangely absent Silver. A turnkey leads the detective to Silver's cell, where the boy is lying on his cot.
Silver. Silver. Get up. You were supposed to be in court a half hour ago. Better open the cell, turnkey. Looks like he's trying to pull a fast one.
Yes, sir.
Come on, Silver. There's no use trying to get out of this.
He doesn't move, sir.
Turn him over.
Look, sir. He's dead.
Poor kid. Couldn't stand the gaff. Looks like it was heart trouble. Well, he's better off this way, I guess. Just goes to show, Turnkey, that there's no way you can beat the law and win.
So Ed Silver beat the rap by the surest way, death. Gavreau, so-called mastermind burglar, was sentenced to the maximum term prescribed by law for the crime of attempted burglary, and after serving his sentence was deported from this country as an undesirable alien. And so ends the story of one of the most ingenious plots I have ever run into. Had it not been for that mysterious letter, Gavreau might have been able to carry out his scheme and even now be living off the thousands of dollars of loot. But, fortunately for a great many people, such was not the case. And as the result of our discovery, trunks left in storage are thoroughly inspected before being allowed to be placed in warehouse or bank vaults. Thus, my advice to anyone who might wish to try this scheme is, it might have worked once, but it won't work now. You can't commit crime and get away with it. I thank you.
Thank you, Nick Harris. Ladies and gentlemen, police officials of Los Angeles, Oakland, Berkeley, San Diego County, Maricopa County, Arizona, and many other cities and counties have officially specified that only one gasoline is to be used in their police and emergency cars. And they choose the same Rio Grande cracked gasoline with tetraethyl that you get from your neighborhood independent dealer. When you drive in, ask how to get absolutely free of charge a complete junior detective outfit to give some boy or girl for Christmas. And to you who have been buying only the low-priced gasoline, Rio Grande offers now G-Gas, a safe, low-priced gasoline that's guaranteed to exceed United States government specifications.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars. Attention all cars. Cancellation broadcast 106. Suspect in this case now in custody. That's all. Rolls included.
Free today at all Rio Grande dealers. The Christmas issue of the Calling All Cars News with police, movie, and radio news. This is your narrator, Frederick Lindsley, saying good night for the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Bascom's for steak.
That's right, and I agree.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
No one in this part of the country has better meat than you, Bascom.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. Come again, will you?
You bet we will.
Yeah, let me hold the door open for you.
Thank you, Mr. Bascom.
Good night.
Good night.
Mind holding the door open for me?
What the devil? I told you not to come here, Flo.
I know. But I got some news for you, sugar.
Yeah, but you should have called me.
Oh, listen, Bullet, I had to see you. Gee, it's been so long, almost a whole day now.
All right, not so loud. Come on over here in this corner booth and don't be conspicuous. There. Sit over there.
What's the idea? You ashamed of me?
No, but I don't want Mildred to get wise.
You sound like you're afraid of that dame. She's only your wife.
Shh, please be quiet, will you?
Sometimes I get disgusted with you. Bullet Bascom, the former middleweight champion, tied to the apron strings of a dame. Why don't you give me something to respect?
All right, Flo. Don't get into that again unless you're aching for a smack in the kisser.
Ah, Daddy, that's more like it. You would smack me, too, wouldn't you?
You bet I would.
Gives me chills up my spine just to think of it.
All right, count 10 on that, too. What's in your mind?
I got it. I got it today.
You got what makes sense?
I got my divorce. I'm free, white, and almost 21.
Yeah, well?
Don't it excite you none? I'm yours, Daddy, all yours. Nobody can take me from you now.
Yeah, that's swell.
Aren't you glad?
Sure, I'm glad.
How about you? When you getting your divorce?
Well, I don't know. I gotta go easy.
What do you mean, go easy?
Well, you know how Mildred is. You can't spring things on her too quick.
Mildred. I'm sick of that name. Hey, you ain't been kidding me all this time, have you?
No, on the level. I just gotta go slow.
What do you mean, go slow?
Well, look, Flo. It ain't as easy as you giving your husband the gate. Everything I got, my house, the restaurant here, everything come out of that legacy from Mildred's old man. If I just go ahead and ditch her like you want me to, I won't have a red cent to my name. I gotta be careful.
Listen, Bullet. I love you, see? I'm your woman, and nobody else has got a right to touch my little finger. The same goes for you. You're my man. And I'm gonna have you no matter what.
Yeah, that's swell, but there's still Mildred.
Well, there won't be Mildred very long.
What do you mean?
Just this. Mildred's gonna commit suicide.
What?
Only you're gonna pull the trigger on the gun.
Flo, you're going nuts.
No, I'm not. How do you suppose I got rid of my first husband, the one before Eddie? The papers called it suicide. So did the coroner, but... Well, you listen to me, Daddy. It's simple. Here's the way you do it.
She's asleep now, Bullet. Now's your chance.
What? Who's there?
Nobody's here. You're alone, Bullet, quite alone.
Who are you?
Your thoughts.
You can't escape us.
We are your thoughts. The gun's over there in the desk. Get it over with quick. Do it now, like that motto in your office says. Do it now.
She's been a good wife. She don't deserve this. Even if I don't love her no more, she don't deserve this.
Getting soft, Bullet.
Tied to a woman's apron string. Getting soft, Daddy, getting soft.
Remember when you knocked out the Ebony Kid in 3 rounds? You were a tough guy then. What happened to you?
I'm still Bullet Bascom. The hardest hitting puncher in the ring. I ain't soft. I got nerve.
Then use it, Bascom. Use it.
That additional refining method that makes Rio Grande cracked more powerful, more economical, and so much speedier than uncracked gasoline. The superiority of Rio Grande cracked gasoline, made by the patented Sinclair cracking process, is proved by the enthusiastic endorsement of such particular buyers as the cities of Los Angeles, Oakland, Berkeley, Marysville, San Diego County, and Maricopa County, Arizona. These and many other western cities and counties have honored Rio Grande cracked gasoline by selecting it, and above all others, to power more police cars, fire engines, ambulances, motorcycles, and other emergency equipment than any other brand. These broadcasts of calling all cars, based on the deeds of police officers who use Rio Grande cracked gasoline, have induced thousands of motorists to drive into independent service stations for the same cracked gasoline that police cars use. We invite you, too, to enjoy the thrill of police car performance. And now it is our pleasure to present Chief James E. Davis of the Los Angeles Police Department. Chief Davis.
Good evening, friends. You have heard me repeat many times on this program the duty of your policeman to prevent crime before it occurs, as well as to bring the criminals to justice after a crime has been committed. This is not the idle voicing of an unattainable ideal. Our files contain many cases in which the crime has never occurred because of the alert work of the police in preventing it.
Calling all cars, a copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all cars, broadcast 103. Be on the lookout for one James Bascom, alias the Bullet, described as 35 years, 5 feet 10 inches, 180 pounds, has a broken nose, right ear cauliflower. This man is suspected of plotting the murder of his own wife. That's all. Rosenbluth.
This is a big month for calling all cars. As we start our 3rd year on the air, the Rio Grande Oil Company celebrates its 20th birthday and enters upon the 21st and biggest year in its history. 20 years ago, this company was refining kerosene for lamps down on the banks of the Rio Grande River. Today, it is recognized as the fastest growing oil company in the West. This is proved by the recently released state figures on taxable gasoline sales, showing Rio Grande sales increased twice that of its nearest competitor. In no other gasoline can motorists enjoy the advantages of the patented Sinclair cracking process.
Your policeman is just as interested in keeping you out of jail as putting you in. He is just as interested in discovering your innocence as he is in determining your guilt. He is, in the final analysis, interested in only one thing, and that is the facts of the case. Tonight, Calling All Cars dramatizes a case in point, where the homicide squad functioned to the fullest in the prevention of a crime. The facts are authentic. The names, for reasons which will be readily apparent, have been changed. But the moral of the story has not been changed. Nothing can change the unalterable, eternal truth, the fact that crime does not pay.
Tonight, Calling All Cars is honored to present as its guest star the famous star of stage and screen, Charles Bickford. Mr. Bickford, making his first public appearance since his near escape from death at the hands of an enraged lion during the filming of East of Java, will be heard on tonight's broadcast in the role of Buckeye Bryan, the man who accepts an invitation to murder. Our story tonight opens at the steakhouse of Bullet Bascom, ex-prize fighter, and Bascom is bidding a couple of diners good night.
Well, Miss Watson, enjoy your dinner?
I certainly did. I was just saying to Mr. Watson, there's no place like Bullet